My biggest secret. Now comes my Amarinya skills. Mukwaha yellam.
Can you tell us about a time we had a setback?
I mean, it was a one-time experience, this crazy person. I hadn't been to the continent of Africa in general before that, so that was also my first African.
Welcome to Unfiltered Culture, everyone, where we explore different culture and personal stories. I'm your host, Aman, and today I'm excited to have as a guest the one and only, Ebru. Welcome to the show. Gorgeous.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here, finally in front of the camera.
Yeah. By the way, my producer is today in front of the camera, so I had to borrow someone for behind the camera.
Well, let's
Thank you.
call it humbly assistant producer. I'm not doing much, but I'm giving my best. But it really feels different to be in front of it with all the lights. I'm getting a bit nervous. But yeah, let me introduce myself first. So I'm Ebru. Hi, everyone. I'm living currently in Munich for 4 years now. And yeah, I'm born and raised in Germany. Mm-hmm. What else?
Like I always say, for every guest I have here, everybody has a different story, different journeys. So what brings you to Munich? Mm-hmm. And where are you from? I know it, but to the people who look and listen, so.
Yeah. Yeah, where are you from? That's always a good question where you try to figure out, do they mean originally? Do they mean the parents? Do they mean myself? But yeah, so I moved to Munich for work 4 years ago. And my parents originally are from Turkey. I'm the first generation born and raised here in Germany. Mm-hmm. So basically it's a typical guest worker story behind our family.
Okay, so it was a long time ago. Sorry for interrupting. Long time ago, your parents came here then?
Yeah, so the first generation is my grandparents.
Okay.
They came with brought their kids afterwards. So my parents or my father, for example, came to Germany when he was maybe around 10. Yeah. And we are the first generation, then his kids who are born here in Germany.
All right. Germany is different, you know. And do you travel back home a lot, or is it?
Yeah, I think we're in Turkey once a year.
Okay.
Every few years, also to our to the city or the village where our family originally is from, but that's not very often the case. It's more that we travel to, for example, Istanbul, or our last destination was this year Cappadocia. I can totally recommend to anyone. Yeah. So yes.
Nice. Okay. So to your life in Munich. Yeah. Let me take you back to your present time. To your life in Munich, what do you do for money, and what is interesting about Munich?
Interesting about Munich is or let me start with the other question, what I do for money. Like very short time ago, I was working in the e-commerce online marketplace business. Mm-hmm. And now I did kind of a reorientation. It's very fresh.
Okay.
So I'm reorientating myself currently. Nice. Yeah, I have a few very exciting projects I can talk about. And about Munich, what's interesting is it's like, I think it counts as a big city, but I think everyone is saying it's like a big village. It also feels like it. Maybe it's because it's surrounded with a lot of nature, so there is still this very calm vibe to it. It's also very, very clean for a big city. So it doesn't feel like a very big chaotic city that you have in mind when you think about big cities, in a country. I think that's pretty interesting.
But you're from a small city.
Yeah.
I would say Germans call it Dorf.
Yeah. Städtchen.
So where are you from?
Yeah, nobody will know it. It's called Lemgo. Okay. Only the ones who play handball will know it. It's pretty known. That's the only thing I think it's known for.
They're famous for that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They have a pretty good TBV handball. So yeah, that's the only thing I think what's known about it. So it's a pretty small city. I think 40,000 people live there.
Oh, wow.
It's nearby Bielefeld, or some will know maybe Düsseldorf, nearby that area. So North Rhine-Westphalia. So it's a very different area of Germany if you compare it to the Bavarian state or Munich.
It's a big one. Oh, okay, I see. What led to that position, like e-commerce? Were you always interested or just switched once you're done studying? Mm-hmm. You studied, right?
Yeah, I studied. I studied international management. So I was already in the economics field studying. And then, I didn't study specifically anything about e-commerce. There were a few modules, of course, during my university time about more specific e-commerce, but it was not my focus. Then, there is nothing romantic about it, actually. You study and then you have to work, right? Yeah. So you think about what do I like? You should think about what do I like, because you will spend 8 hours a day at work. So there is not much romantic about it. It's just work. So I was like, okay, I can do online shopping. I can do it very well, too well. And I think that's how I led to the thought that, hey, this might be a good role for me, where I can also grow and where I have a personal interest, and where I can not only make the project grow that I work on, but also myself.
All right. Where did you study?
I studied in Worms. It's nearby Mannheim.
Okay. So the small city where you were from, and now Munich, is not the second time you moved, right? So
no, I have a lot of moving behind me. So I first moved from home for studies to Mannheim.
Okay.
From
another small city.
Yeah, a bit bigger. Like I got gradually upgraded, let's say.
Bigger, okay. Mm-hmm.
And then I did, I think, a big upgrade. I moved to Peru, Lima, specifically, so the capital, for half a year, also for studying. From there, I moved back to Mannheim. I moved to Ingolstadt for some internships. I moved to Stuttgart for some internships. And now I ended up in Munich.
Nice. So it sounds like a LinkedIn profile. It's perfect. Moving
it's
there,
a lot going on,
there. Yeah, it's good. So it's nice. So work is a big part of people, everyday people, normal people, whatever. But outside of work, what do you do?
Hobbies.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So I like dancing. I go to dance classes. I also like to dance just outside of classes, going out, dancing, having some fun. That's what
Very good dancer, just to be.
Thank you. I'm just having fun, right? Nothing professional. Apart from that, I like doing nails. And
show them again. Show them. Look at this. Nice.
So that's, I'm also a nail artist. What else do I enjoy? I enjoy reading. I enjoy baking, like typical stuff,
So to not forget about those nails, is it gel or is it what type of nails? Because everybody does this. You go to shop.
Yeah.
Sit an hour, 2 hours? I don't know.
That's the minimum you get. You usually sit there if you want a decent work, you sit there for 2 and 3 hours.
As you can see, I don't know nothing about this. But tell us about those nails.
Yeah, so these are so-called press-ons made out of gel dough. So it's basically in the studios, you would get the Gel X method, where they use a liquid gel to glue on your Gel X tips.
Okay.
And on top of that, they would do the nail art you want. What I did, I reversed the method. I'm also not the first one doing it, by the way. It's nothing I invented, but I reversed the method saying, okay, if anyways these things are being glued on, why not do the work of nail art myself without the client waiting 2 or 3 hours with me, getting a buckle on their back, losing time, losing money, because also there are so many costs of a nail salon that have to be charged towards the customer. It makes no sense if it don't. So what if I do it myself, use those 2-3 hours myself to work on the nail art, get the gel X tips ready to then be glued on by the customer at home. So it's basically a win-win for both sides. The clients can just glue them on with usual nail glue on their nails, either liquid or glue tabs.
Okay.
So it's more a glue method. So you also don't have the risk of getting a gel allergy, for example, which a lot of people get after getting years and years of manicure at the salon. This can happen. So yeah, that's then how these nails result.
All right. So you do them yourself?
Yes, all hand painted, everything.
Ah, nice. So you have you're doing it side business now, is it, or is it just for yourself?
I started doing it for myself and my sister years ago. And I learned, I got more professional, and I would say like a month ago, I started doing it professionally also for customers.
Ah, nice. So I don't know if I have female listeners by now, hopefully, but if I do, where can get in touch with you? Do you have social media?
Yeah, I only do social media. I have especially for orders, I use my Instagram account. It's called Welcome to Nailwana. So the brand's name is Nailwana. And that's also where you can order yours. I will make sure to custom size your nails, custom made. You can basically order whatever you want, send me your inspo, and then I will prepare.
Okay, so they can send their inspo what they like, and then you can make
Yes, exactly. I will do copy paste them.
Nice. All right, then everybody make sure to check out her Instagram. Yes. I will link it down below this video. Life, now we know a little bit about yourself, about who you are. And can you share a moment where in your life that shaped you to become the person who you are today?
Oh, wow, that went pretty deep, pretty fast after a casual talk about nails and beautiful stuff.
Escalated quickly, I would say.
So the experience that shaped my course of life, basically. Exactly. I think I have such an experience that really changed also my brain chemistry, my course of life very recently. Oh, wow. So I've undergone, I would say, a lot of changes in my mindset and also where I want to go in life. It started not as beautiful, but I think I made the best out of it to then change into a more positive mindset with it and really use that to my advantage, actually. So it's more work related, as I said. I don't want to go into too much detail, but just to give a bit of context, it was more work related, where my career path that I had built for myself during the last 4 years, then at once really changed. Didn't work out as I was planned and counted on. Basically, so that made me really do a 180-degree change in my life, to really spend time to think about where I want to go, what I really like, because I think it's important to do that every now and then, maybe every few years, to really check up again on the things you were thinking 5 years ago, maybe. I'm not a fan of doing strict 5-year plans, because you never know at the end. That feels a bit too strict for me. I cannot do it. I can just imagine it roughly where I want to go. But I think it makes totally sense to check up on it every now and then to see, okay, now the circumstances have changed. You don't have to accept every circumstance in life that you come across. And basically that's what I did, to ask myself, can I change it? Should I leave it? Or can I accept it like it is? The changing and accepting part was not an option. Okay. So that's where I extracted myself from that situation and then really shaped again my goals in life, especially work related.
Sometimes stepping out it's a good choice because if if you can't change it, then you should change yourself and grow.
Yeah.
Some situation.
And sometimes it's good to have those situations because sometimes you get comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And just keep going and be like, oh, okay, it's not that bad actually.
Yeah.
Let
you
me just
check
go
back
on.
with yourself, of course.
Yeah.
From time to time.
Sometimes you need like a kick in your ass.
I mean, finding a meaning in a daily life could be tough, of course. But how do you find purpose and routine in your everyday life?
And purpose and routine.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to the routine part, I think it's important to go maybe from the bigger picture to the smaller picture, because I think breaking something into routine is, I think, the last part. I think it's important to also check up on your values every now and then. To have like this compass of values where you check always with every move or every week where you stand with those. I think it's important to have your values clarified, and also those can change. Also values can change, which are important for you in life. And I think, let's say you have a value of you want to spend more time on your well-being, let's say. Because you want to be that person. I think it helps to depict yourself as a person. That's also what I did the last month when I really checked up again what I want to do, what I want to be, to check up on the person you want to be. And if the person, let's say you want to be, is more fit or more happy with who they are, how they look or how they feel about their body or their mind, whatever it is, let's say it's about moving more. I think that starts with a value, and then you can break it down into, okay, how can I break this down into my everyday life, and then start small. It doesn't have to be big changes, actually, big changes. And then I think if you do like mini steps, at some point you will find your routine in it. Once you found something that works for you and works towards the value that you like or would work on more, then I think you're good to go to build a routine out of that.
Nice.
And finding purpose in my everyday life, that goes along, right? If you have a value and then build a routine around that value, you see the purpose behind it. And sometimes maybe it helps to not always think individualistically, but more collectively. I know that's the thing in Western culture, you don't have a lot, but sometimes also it doesn't have to be something for yourself. It can be something for the collective that helps. Or also just thinking, okay, what would a small girl be motivated by seeing, and then be the woman that you think small girls would be motivated by, and then stand up for those values. Actually, I think that will already build some purpose.
Very deep, you said, but you give us even deeper answer. So I mean, we all have our differences or definition of success. Yeah, of course, everybody has. What does success mean to you? Beyond just money or title.
Oh my God, where did I sign up for all of these questions? They're so deep. How do I define success?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
Beyond, like, not just money or title.
Yeah. I have to think on that a bit. I don't have like a fixed definition for success. I think what was till now important and also enough for me to call myself successful at, for example, work, is just being good. Just really being reliable and good at what you do. And again, not be about yourself, like, I'm doing this, let's say sales, so great, I'm so great with it, but more what you achieve with that. For example, doing sales. Like, if you're good at helping people with your solution selling, then I would say you're successful.
I mean, sometimes everybody fails. Not sometimes, I mean all the times. You have to fail to get better. You have to fall down to get up. Yeah, I mean, failures can become unexpectedly our success. So can you tell us about a time where you had a setback or led to something great or something positive?
I think that goes very well with the example I already gave.
Yeah.
Can I go back to that, or do you need another example?
No, you can. Sure.
Okay, I think, as I said, I'm pretty proud of having like a setback, which I then formed, I would say, into a success. I think it's important in those situations to take your time. I think I wouldn't have done that before. Maybe when I was younger. I think it's important to really take your time to reflect on things and also accept help. I know it's not always very easy for some people. Some people like me, we know everything better and stuff. But I think it's important to really take your time, to really reflect on what happened, to see if it's something was in your control, and those things which are not in your control, to just accept them. And from there, just keep going. Like, then once you really have it figured out for yourself, reflected it through, from there you can look like to the future. I think that's the best part then.
All right, I see. So, culture, of course.
Yeah.
Culture plays a big role in shaping our views and experiences. How has your culture background influence the way you approach life and, of course, work?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the topic of culture, of course, especially for people who have a different background or family background from the country they're living in, is an interesting one, I would say. Because especially in the case of Turkish German and Turkish German culture, is a whole lot of mix up there. I would say, like, especially for Turkish German people, there is like a whole other culture being built than compared to the main Turkish in Turkey culture and the German culture. And we basically have a pretty mixed up culture that I hope and also believe we take the best out of both worlds. We take the values from Turkish culture, where you more open towards, let's say, for example, foreigners or guests, more welcoming, more warm-hearted, but also this more disciplined and realistic, and sometimes when you need it, being more individualistic about your own needs from the German culture. And I think it's just important to take the best out of two worlds and then form your own values from it. And I think it really shaped those values, or those mix up of cultures really shape your life a lot. Yeah.
Nice. I try to ask everybody who I have here as a guest about cultural stereotypes.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it can be powerful or it can be misleading, the stereotypes, yeah? Is there any cultural stereotype about your background would you say, yeah, I can relate, or I know that people say, but it's not true? And the one you say people like the stereotype, yeah, it's true, I can agree.
So one that I agree and relate to, and one where I'm like, okay, this is not true at all. Like, where did this even come from? For the second option, I think, especially in Europe, you have a lot of examples, because there are a lot of misconceptions about other cultures that are not European. One that I can relate to is being late.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think Turkish people are perceived as super, super late, but there is always this lateness, which is okay. But maybe in German culture or other European, more Western cultures, it's not. Like, for me, even I think it's weird if someone invites me at 7 p.m. to their home and I go there at 7 p.m. It's weird to me. Like, what do I want to check on? If they're ready or not? Or, like, it's just straight weird to me. I cannot show up at 7 if someone invites me at 7.
So being late, yeah?
Yeah, being late, I unfortunately relate to. One, I think that really goes on my nerves, and I think we have to do better in Europe, is mixing culture with religions or ethnicities. There is this misconception that Turkey consists of Muslim Turkish people, First of all, like this typical Turkish, there is no such thing. It came with the modern Turkey, the country that the people of Turkey are called Turkish. Also, the misconception of the Muslim Turks is not true. There is such a variety of ethnicities, but also religions. Of course, the country is mainly religion, and the agenda being pushed publicly or also politically is more that of a Muslim. Yes, it's true. Doesn't mean that there is this typical Muslim Turkish people only in Turkey, and I think that has to go, this misconception.
Okay, I see. So, but about being late, I didn't know that. But I mean, we as an Ethiopian, I didn't know when I was being late.
Yeah, because I show up. Probably the Turks show up directly before the Ethiopians show up to something. So you are not aware of who else is late before
you. You're trying to cover your ass now. No, it's fine. You're late also. So now we find out something new. Interesting. I mean, of course, you don't know this kind of stuff if you don't travel. And you don't learn any new culture, again, if you do not travel. So, I mean, traveling often expand our mindset, our knowledge about other people. How has traveling influenced your view of other cultures?
First of all, I love traveling. I would suggest to anyone to travel, especially also to live maybe in a very different culture. Not only travel. Travel is also nice. You already get to know some of the culture, but I think it really shapes your view on a lot of things to have lived, even if it's just for half a year, but really lived in a country that's very different to the country you grow up. Because you then get to know, first of all, that humans are not that different. There are those traditions, there are a few worldviews that are then more relevant in some parts of the globe than in others. But most of the things we call differences are just geography to me. It's just how geography is built, how some things are in some geographies just more relevant. So I think that's so important to everybody in a very young age to have lived in a very different culture to theirs. It really shapes how you think. You see humans as one. You see some differences that are more interesting, more than, okay, this is so different. Like, you know, you're not so scared of differences. Mm-hmm. You see more the bright side of it. And I think it really helps. And also it builds up your self-esteem. Because if you survived in a completely different culture with complete different language and everything, where you have to build up something for yourself, that really builds up your self-esteem. You feel good about yourself.
I mean, yeah, you have then also always a conversation starter.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
That's nice. Family members and love stories. Not long ago, I have someone here who was talking about her sister. So I'll give you the same chance talking about you, sister. That episode will be out by then when you hear this or when you looked at this. So you remember what she said now. Is your sister also first love or important? Or yes. As she says?
Yes. I have the feeling I have to say no, I'm just kidding. And so, I mean, I moved to Munich. My sister also already was living in Munich when I moved there. So we are those sisters who get along very well, who can even live together, which is not often the case, I think. Some people are very surprised. They're like, okay, and this is going well. And we're like, okay, for 4 years, it's already going well. So we must be doing something right. So, yeah. Nice. It's so nice to have a sister. Like, the girlies will understand. It's so nice to have a sister.
You are the youngest.
I'm the youngest of 3 siblings.
So you have one brother, older?
Yeah, the oldest is a brother, then my sister, and then I come.
How is it living with your sister?
Help. It's good. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of home parties every now and then. Just the 2 of us, vibing, dancing. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, sometimes there are some casualties, but yeah. It's good.
I can't imagine what you will say looking at this podcast, what you said about her. But if you see this, please comment. And since you moved to Munich, you also found another important person here, I would say.
Yes.
So, how is it going?
It's going well. How is it going for you?
For me, I mean, I'm here. I'm enjoying life, so
You invited me to your podcast, so I think it's going well.
Finally, yeah.
Or did I just go on your nerves, so you had to invite me? I waited very long for this invitation.
Yeah, she don't understand. I want to give her a special, but like I said. No, I mean, you travel. I took you to Ethiopia.
Yeah.
So how was your impression?
It was so good. I had so much fun. I mean, we stayed 1 week, 1.5 weeks, mainly also in the capital. It was so interesting. As I said, I love traveling in general. I hadn't been to the continent of Africa in general before that. So that was also my first African country to be in. But it was so interesting to me, like the people, the sharing culture, especially sharing food. I mean, I knew it from here already, from my family and friends, but it was so interesting to see that in a collective style. You really felt that you welcome. I never had any moment where I was feeling not welcomed in any setting.
Yeah.
Also, I had seen also some cultural events, like I was there for the for the Orthodox Christmas. That was also so interesting to me. And it looked so lovely, everything. Everybody was in those traditional dresses, everything white, so beautiful. Yeah.
Nice. So, we were in the capital city, of course. And what are some things you really liked while doing it? And I don't want to give you too much space, but one thing you don't like. If I say, give me 3-4 things, you will find something. So let's say one thing
I'm
you
not
didn't
that
like.
picky.
No, everybody. If you look for a mistake, you will find mistakes. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that's also something important about traveling, to be open-minded.
Yeah.
I mean, you should, of course, safety and everything is generally important. That's nothing you should, cut on. But some things you have to be open-minded in general when traveling. That's also the beauty of it, right? To get to new things. So what I really, really enjoyed thinking back was, I think, the nature in general. Like we were in this natural reserve, and we saw some animals, some very interesting animals I hadn't seen before. Also with the waterfalls, the one hotel. So I think the nature and the flora in general was so interesting to me, and I really enjoyed that. And I think also the Ethiopian jazz community, I love that. The music is so vibrant, so nice. I loved it. The only thing I had my struggles with, and you know what it is, I even learned this to say in Amarinya, because I had to explain my problem. Now comes my Amarinya skills. Mukwaha yellam. Sometimes there is no hot water. And let me tell you, I can live for a few hours without electricity, without light, without I don't know what. It's all okay.
Okay.
But the mukwaha, the hot water problem, is I have a personal struggle with it. I think that was my lowest moment. I was really, that was the edge.
Okay, and let's forget about this. But yeah, I mean, you're pretty good in learning languages, so I'm feeling even bad because I'm not so good in Turkish than you are in my language. And we went to Awash. She saw some crocodile, of course.
Oh, I'm scared.
So how was the drive to Awash and Awash itself? Because we didn't stay that long.
Yeah.
But how was it for you?
So the drive there, it was a long drive. We fortunately had a very lovely personal driver. He showed us also around. He took good care of us. We felt very safe and also again welcome during the ride. It was a very long ride through more like, rural areas. So it was also good that we didn't only see the capital, because mainly like countries are not only, one side of it. I saw many sides in that 1 week, I would say. So it was a long ride. Sometimes more comfortable, sometimes more shaky, But also then the nature was so nice on the way. You remember, like with all the mountains and big landscape. Already the ride to there was very lovely. And Awash itself was mind blowing to me. I mean, the nature again, the crocodiles. I mean, it was a one-time experience. This crazy person, he went like to cuddle with them almost.
Oh no, okay.
I was the one screaming from behind to not go too far. But I was shocked at how chill the safety, the guard there was. He was almost cuddling with them, let's say. That was shocking to me.
I mean, I really enjoyed it. I
saw that with the crocodiles.
But would you do it again?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right,
so you can invite me again. I would come.
We will go soon, don't worry. I mean, about family and traveling, it's always nice to travel with your family and friends. And recently, we all were in Turkey.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I felt when someone comes to your country and you're showing around, there's always this sense of proudness where you're just like, let me show her the best side or the good stuff, so she want to come back. Was there a feeling for you
when we were in Turkey? I mean, Istanbul in general is like you have everything there. And we went to Istanbul and then Cappadocia. I didn't have any issues because it's anyways nowadays more touristic. Everything is taken care of. It's one in a whole world landscape that you have there. Istanbul can have many facets to it, but you saw it. It's pretty safe, even though it's such a big metropole. There is a lot to do, a lot to see. The only day that I was, but that's also maybe a personal thing. It was the first day when we went to the Asian side, to the area of Sultan Ahmet Fatih, where you have a lot of history, a lot of museums, a lot of, again, historic sites. For example, the Hagia Sophia is there, which is also a very important site for you personally. Like it's not only for Muslims, very important, but also for the Christian community. So a lot to see and do there, but the vibe there is very different from the European side. It's not on the Asian side, but you go over the bridge, and that area is very different from the rest of the European side, where mainly tourists also are, which are a bit more modernized, a bit more westernized. So that was where I myself also sometimes struggle, to be honest. So that was the only in my mind where I was like, okay, will they like it? Will it be okay? Because it's always overcrowded. It's different from the vibe. It's different just in general. So yeah, that was the only thing. But I mean, I didn't have like, I was not scared that you wouldn't like it or would be like, okay, what the hell? Where are we? Because I think every side of a country or a city is nice to see.
Definitely, I can agree. I mean, there was nothing I didn't like, to be honest. So everything
was
perfect.
Good.
I liked
I'm happy to hear that.
I would go again, always, but I need to change first the one thing I struggled, and then I can go again. Because the visa situation was...
oh yeah, visa situation got so hard. I don't know why they did that.
No, I mean, I don't want to touch on that one. That was like, I already gave up.
It's a not so beautiful topic to talk about.
Yes.
Thinking back about it.
But how was it? Because dating same culture is easy, but dating different cultures could be complicated. How was it for you?
I think I generally don't have such a big topic with it because, as I said, like if you travel a lot, if you have lived in a very different culture, you already see more the similarities. And I mean, we find everyday similarities in language, in culture, in food, in words that we use in our language. So, of course, you have to be open-minded. Some things are different from what you are used to, but that's basically with every person, isn't it? Like, even if you're from the very, very same culture, even the household forms a culture itself. A family can form its own culture. So if you have another family and you bring them together, you have again a clash of, maybe a minor clash of culture, but there is no such thing like one universal Turkish culture, one universal Ethiopian culture. Publicly, it may be displayed like this, so it's easier to grasp, but there is no such thing. Even in your country, you have very different cultures in one. So, yeah.
So you're saying it's not that difficult?
No, it's more about the mindset, I think.
Nice. I mean, culture influences us in many ways. I mean, I cannot count it even. It's a lot because you learn every day different stuff. What lesson from your culture do you apply in everyday life?
Wow. What lesson from my culture? Yes. I think generally the food culture is an important thing. I think especially in Western cultures that might be less relevant to take the time to eat. In some Western cultures, it's important, like in French, it's also a more Western culture, but they, for example, value the dinner a lot.
Yeah.
In Turkey, it's more the Turkish breakfast, but in general, also the meals. Like at home back then, we used to eat always together the dinner, and on weekends the breakfast. And thinking back about it, I still enjoy it. I mean, of course, if you're a kid, you're like, okay, now I have to wait for everyone. I have to eat together. But thinking back, I think it's important also to have those small rituals around food or gathering in general, whatever it might be, for dinner or just, sitting, watching something together. I think those are nice things to preserve.
Nice. Okay. Last question about culture, and then we move on. What did you find about my culture has similarity with your culture?
Okay, let me think. There are quite some, I think.
Just give me one.
Give me one. Okay, so I think I was pretty surprised about how religious people in your country, also the Christians, are praying. That's pretty similar to the Muslims in Turkey, saying Amin or Amen. Also opening your hands, I think, or not?
Yeah.
I think that was like, I think at a wedding, I was like, that's so similar to what we do usually. I was like looking around, I said, no way, these all are Muslims. So I think those things were pretty surprising as similarities to me, more on the religious side. On the cultural side, I think I saw a lot of similarities in friendships. When I looked at you and your friends in Ethiopia, it resembled a lot those friendships you would have in Turkey. Very open, very welcoming, very, a lot of fun going on, a lot of laughter going on, jokes flying around. It's more warm friendship. You can really feel that you really care for each other, and that I see also in the friendships in Turkey.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I don't see that much in friendships in other cultures. I saw that also in Latin America a lot in the friendships. There's like this, I don't know what this sparkle is, but it really resembles each other, like Ethiopian friendship, Turkish friendships in Turkey, and what I saw, for example, in Peru. There is just this similarity in the vibe in general. I cannot put it in words, but it's interesting. I see it. Yeah.
So we almost at the end for this episode, because I don't want to put it an hour, 2 hours. I will get you back again. Don't worry. It's not going to be the first and last time. So as you know already, because you're sitting all the time behind the camera, I have a culture where every guest before you wrote a question without knowing the question who the question will be for. So today, you have the chance to answer one of the questions that the previous guest wrote down here.
By the way, I never see the questions, so people will think, she knows the question coming up.
So this question
I'm not allowed to look into it.
It's an interesting one. I don't know if you want to answer this question, but I will ask it anyways. It says here, what is the darkest secret you haven't told anyone? Question mark. Swear upon God first.
Do I have to swear on the book or something, or your book?
You don't have to answer it specifically, but you can tell us a secret. I don't know. And you have also to write your own question.
Yeah, as if the question I received was not enough. So, I don't know if the world is ready for this, what I will say now.
It's going to be a good thumbnail.
My biggest secret I will never tell on camera. It makes no sense. Who does something like this? I mean, I know who did. I was behind the camera. Now I know who did. Maybe next episode or the episode after.
Okay, then I will
or
ask.
the one after. I cannot promise.
One question instead of that question.
Okay.
I will ask you another one.
Yeah, a fair one, please. One that you can say publicly that will go on YouTube and won't get you in jail or something.
All right, calm down. We don't want to go there.
No, just kidding.
So, one question. You have seen life in Ethiopian, of course.
Yeah.
Will you ever want to live there?
Specified living?
No, I don't
like
know.
all my life for 1 year, half year, 2 months.
Okay, calm down. 2 months. Let's say 1 year or 1.5.
Depends on the circumstance. Like with any country,
Perfect
even
circumstances.
Perfect circumstances. Then okay.
Yeah.
Because even if you would ask me about Turkey or any other country, it's always about the circumstances. Like it's not about moving to a country, but what kind of life you will live there. So it's more about that, I think.
So you would?
I think I have to learn a bit more Amarinya than
Don't worry.
there is no hot water. You know?
Other than that, it's fine for you.
We can discuss this.
You saw it, right? We have it on the camera, guys.
This will be used against me. I have the feeling. I'm scared what I answered here.
No, it's fine. So anyways, thank you for sharing insights today with us and your experience.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you so much. Do you have any final thoughts you would like to express?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me in front of the camera. I'm happily coming back in front of the camera. It was a very interesting session, I think. I don't remember you asking other guests these deep questions. I was being grilled here. No, just kidding. I think any final thoughts for the audience? I would just repeat what you are anyway saying. Just keep exploring. Different cultures are not like from Mars or something. It all comes from the same thing or same culture. It's all one at the end if you go back and more back and more back. So just be open-minded, please.
Nice. Any advice you would give someone who's trying to move to a new country?
Oh, wow. I think it goes the same. Just be open-minded. Prepare yourself mentally to have difficulties, that not everything will be for granted like you are used to it in your country and your culture. Just expect it to be a bit difficult at some times, but it's nothing you cannot do. Doesn't matter how far this country is, because you're not the first person doing it, so it will be all right.
All right. Thank you again for being here. And of course to you guys for watching and listening. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe on YouTube, Spotify. And as always, keep exploring new cultures so you can see how everything is connected. This was Unfiltered Culture with your host Aman. See you next time. Peace.